Okay, we are now recording, and I will share my screen with you. Okay, I have actually just found a mistake that I made, which I'm going to need to fix so that you can do this week's activity. Alright, now my computer is running a little bit slowly at the moment. Hopefully it will catch up in a minute. Okay, so this is what you had to do last week. Oh, I beg your pardon. No, it's not. Okay, here we go. So last week, there were two activities, okay? Basically, do the textbook and discrimination in Japan forum. So we'll go to the instructions page first. So there is a textbook activity to do. It's part of a Word document, which is attached to the bottom of the instructions page. We'll open it in a moment. Then there is a discussion forum called Discrimination in Japan, and I just had a look, and it looks like a lot of you have been using it, which is fantastic. And of course, English Central. So this is where we were at last week. Okay. And all I want to do is just go through. Actually, we'll just go and have a look at the discussion forum. And then we'll open up week 3 and we'll check your English Central scores. Okay, so last week you had to do answer these questions. Okay, there were 6 questions, one for each of the topics from the listening activity. You had to insert one of these words in here. Okay, so I've typed out or posted rather, the question, and then all you needed to do was come in and write your opinion. Okay, and some of you have been asking each other questions and agreeing with each other and disagreeing, so that's great. Okay, that's perfect, in fact. Okay, so that's what you had to do last week. So let's have a look. Oh. Yeah, I think the internet is running a little bit slowly at the moment. Okay, so let's have a look and see what you need to do this week, and we'll hope that my computer holds out. Okay, just bear with me. It might be a little bit slow today. What is important today, this week, there is an assignment. There's a project. It's a mini presentation that you will do on Flipgrid. It's one of 2 graded assignments that you'll do this quarter, in addition to the English Central that you have to do every week. Okay, now we'll have a look at that later. First, though, there's still a textbook activity to do, and there's still a discussion forum to do. All right. So we are here. We're almost halfway through the quarter already. So we'll be looking at social change. We'll be finishing the social change topic in the textbook. And there's what's called a wrap-up activity in the textbook on page 72. And that's what your graded activity is, your mini presentation. That's what it's based on. Okay, so as usual, after today's lesson, I will upload the recording, and I will put the link to the lesson here. Okay, English Central, just quickly. Again, I think this week was even better than last week. Okay, so well done, everybody. A few of you who didn't do enough last week have actually started doing a bit more, which is great. I'd say 95% of you have been doing everything you have to do anyway. There's a lot of 60s there, which is the maximum score. So well done. If you go in and you do check this and you see that there is a mistake, please let me know. Okay? All right, now the textbook activity is the Word document attached at the bottom of the instructions page. So I'm just going to go to the bottom and we'll open it up. Okay, now you see there are two activities here. Okay, this is the textbook activity, and this is an outline of a famous person. It's basically the assignment that you have to do. And I'm going to open both of those, but we'll start with the textbook activity. But after I've done that, I'll explain why I've included this as a separate activity. So that's week 3. And I'll open this one as well. And then we'll just go back up there. Okay. Okay, so in the textbook, basically open it, follow the instructions in the Word document. So let's do that. Okay, so that's this one. As always, the answers to last week's activity are in here, so you can go through and you can check the answers. Okay, with the answers, if you find something that is strange or you don't understand something, feel free to contact me and ask why. Now, this activity, the Speak Out social change activity, is to get you ready for the forum, okay? To discuss these ideas about social change. There are 3 questions. You need to type your answer to each question in here, okay? So what are the 2 biggest problems in Japan? What are the 2 biggest social issues in Japan? At the moment, around the world, the Black Lives Matter social issue is very, very topical. Okay, a lot of people are coming out in support of Black Lives Matter, which at its essential base is basically saying that racism is wrong. Okay, so Black Lives Matter is simply a problem of social injustice, that there are members of communities all around the world who are being discriminated against because of the race that they are. Okay, so in America, it is particularly bad with the African. Okay, so the black people in America, they have had many problems stemming back 400 or 500 years. You can go back to when Black Americans were first brought to America as slaves. And so they are still experiencing problems even today, which is why there are many demonstrations in America. But those demonstrations have spread beyond America. They've had rallies all over Europe, in the UK, in Australia, even here in Japan. So there is one big issue, a worldwide issue, but do you think it's one of the 2 biggest problems in Japan? Now, once you've identified the 2 biggest problems, you need to think, how do you think those problems can be solved? And finally, why are those 2 problems important to you? Why did you choose them? Okay, so write down your answers for all 3 questions, and you're going to post those into a forum and discuss them. Now, this is the quick outline of the project you have to do, okay? But there is actually another Word document which has far more details. So we'll look at that in a moment. You'll notice there is a link to Flipgrid. It is a Flipgrid activity. Okay, now it's worth 20% of your final grade. What you have to do is make a short presentation about a famous person who has helped Japan. Okay, it's missing a little bit there. It should be a famous person who has helped Japan. So here are the details. Choose a famous person that you think has done something special for Japan. The person doesn't have to be Japanese. They could be somebody from outside Japan who has helped Japan, or they can be someone, of course, who is Japanese who has helped Japan. You need to do some research about that person. You need to find out about their life, okay? Because you have to write a report first. Write a report about his or her life and what he or she did, okay? Then use Flipgrid to present your report to your classmates. And I've got an example for you in a minute. And we'll just finish off quickly before I explain that in more detail. This is what you have to do this week for English Central, okay? It's still 100 speak 100 lines, learn 25 words, and this week you'll be doing the W, the W phoneme, okay? So week 3, here we go, week 3, the W sound. Okay, so I'm just going to get out of that for a second. And like I said, download this document. Okay, this is really important. Download this from the Schoology instructions page. Okay, so week 3 instructions right at the bottom. It's this one. And follow the instructions in the document. Okay, you're going to do a short presentation on a famous Japanese person. I've put the Flipgrid link in here as well, and we'll have a look at Flipgrid in a moment. But the explanations, full explanations, are here. Now you choose a famous person, you do research, write about his or her life, and then present it. Now the report should be, this is just a guess, okay? About 200 to 300 words. The reason I think 200 to 300 words is enough is that will give you enough to talk for 2 to 3 minutes. 1 to 2 minutes, I beg your pardon. So the presentation should be about 1 or 2 minutes. Now you should have the person's name and when they were born and when they died if they are no longer alive. Okay, you should include that information. Your presentation should have at least 3 photos, but you can have more. You need to explain who the person is or who they were if they are dead. You need to talk about their life when they were growing up. Then you need to explain why they are famous and finally, why you chose that person. Now there are a number of different topics where you could find a person that would fit this famous person category, okay? It could be somebody who was famous for dealing with discrimination or prejudice, with dealing with poverty, okay? Outside of Japan, a famous person who dealt with poverty is Mother Teresa, okay, as an example. Social change. Again, a person outside Japan who dealt with social change would be someone like Nelson Mandela or Gandhi, who you have read about in the book, in the textbook. Traditional values, technology, okay? I've got a great one for technology as an example for you. I did Bill Gates. He was the founder of Microsoft. But again, it needs to be someone who has helped Japan with technology. There's a lot of people who could fill this category, okay? I can't remember his name. Matsushita Son, the guy who the CEO of SoftBank. He's a great one. And another one would be the CEO of Rakuten, for example. Or you could go back further in history and look at the founders of Panasonic or Sony, for example. Equal rights, okay? Equal rights can be both for races, but also for sex, okay? There's actually a separate one here for sex. So men and women, equal rights in the workplace. Or it could be for age, okay? Equal rights for the elderly and for the young, as well as for the middle-aged. Crime and violence, and we just talked about that one. Okay, so choose a person. It doesn't even have to be one of these categories, okay? It could be a different category, but choose a famous person, do research, answer these questions, and then write your report. Now, write your report down here, okay? Write your report, whoops, from here. Now, I've given different categories to help you write your report. So, my famous person who has helped Japan is, write their name in here. Okay, write their age, their date of birth as well. You should have a photo of the person. Then, write about their background. I've just guessed 4 or 5 sentences. It could be a little bit less, it could be a little bit more. Okay, where were they born? Where did they grow up? What was their job? When did they die if they're dead? Or what are they doing now if they're alive? Why are they famous? Okay, what did they do to help Japan? You may need to write more than 2 or 3 sentences, actually. That's a little bit short, I think. And then why did you choose them? 2 to 3 sentences is probably okay with that one. Okay, what was your personal reason for choosing that famous person? How has their story or how has what they have done affected your life? And add more photos. Remember, you need to have 2 or 3 photos minimum. 3 photos minimum. When you have finished your report in this Word document, okay, then you can go to Flipgrid and you can share your report. Now, again, just a quick reminder, please use either Chrome or Microsoft Edge when you do this, okay? The other browsers don't tend to work. So let's have a look at Flipgrid. Okay, I'm going to go to Flipgrid now. All of that information that I just outlined to you is repeated here. Okay, make sure you do some research. Put it together in a Word document and then watch my example. Now, the reason I want you to watch my example, and my example goes a little bit longer than yours needs to go. Okay, I've tried to make it full to be a good example. I've done it on Bill Gates. And you use your Word document. Okay? Welcome to my presentation. I want to talk about my famous person. His name is Bill Gates. So, just like this, have their name, when they were born, have a picture of them. All right? Then I'm just going to skip forward a little bit. There we go. I've got all the information written in here. Now, I have left the instructions in my report. You don't need to leave the instructions. You should delete these instructions, okay? But I've left them in there because this is an example for you. So I thought it would be useful for you to have the instructions there and then read what I have done. But for your report, when you give your presentation, delete all of this small text. Just have your ideas in there. Okay, we'll just go forward a little bit. Okay, so I've got photos. Let's see, just software company in the world. Okay, there we go. A few more photos. This is him. I'm gonna skip forward a bit. Okay, more photos explaining what he did during his life. and then why he became. This is actually talking about how he grew up, and then how he became famous. He invented the first. What was it? Gonna be fun. The first operating system for a PC, which was one of the first, which of course is Windows. Okay, so he's the inventor of Windows, and he sold it to a company called Microsoft, and then they made him the CEO of that company, and then he was able to sell his Windows browser to IBM, which put it on almost every personal computer in the world at that stage. So he became very, very powerful in the IT industry. Okay, and it goes through information about him, all the products. Watch this presentation. It'll give you an idea of what you need to do for yours. But the key idea is that I have created the report and then shared the report. You can make it much bigger. See, I can make it much bigger. And then I've shared my report as a presentation, which is owned by Microsoft. His management style has been studied and copied around the world. Now, what I've tried to do is use a lot of photos, okay? Show the audience, show your classmates the photos, and then you tell them the story. The text is there, but you should be telling them the story. You read the text out, okay? And use the photos as a visual aid. All right, I'm going to stop that. Okay, so that is your project, and remember, this is worth 20% of your grade. Okay, so this week you will make the report, upload it to Flipgrid. Next week you will watch each other's reports and give feedback on it. Okay, and that is part of the assessment. Giving feedback is actually part of your assessment. All right, so let's go back to the instructions. Okay, so that's what you need to do. I've put the link to that Flipgrid in about 3 different spots, so hopefully you can find it. And just a reminder of what you have to do this week. Okay, check your English Central scores, make sure they're correct. Do the Quarter 2, Week 2 activity in the Word document, and then copy and paste your ideas into the social change forum. Hang on, I'll just show you where that is. Just bear with me. Oh, looks like the internet's working again. Yay. Okay, so it's this one here. And you'll see there are the 3 questions. So you just copy and paste, and just paste all of your answers together into one comment box. Okay? And then during the week, go back, read 3 of your classmates' opinions, and then post a reply to them, telling them if you agree or disagree with their ideas. Now, if you agree, say, I agree because. If you disagree, I disagree because. Okay, explain your reasons. Okay. Oops, sorry. Wow, this is really slow. And I can't get rid of it. Okay, we'll go this way then. All right, so the last thing I would like you to do, why can't I get rid of this? Go away. Just make sure you check your homework at the end. So we did the social change forum activity, and most importantly this week, make sure you do the Flipgrid report. Okay, make sure you do the Flipgrid report. It's not written there. Okay, I'm going to add that as number 4. It's the most important thing you're going to do. It's this one here. Okay, the mini presentation. Write your report into here, into this document, and then present the document, okay? You present the document. So you write your report down here, okay? The way I did it, after you've written your report, get rid of this, okay? Delete it. You can keep the headings, their background, why they are famous, why I chose them, but you don't need to keep the instructions. You can delete that when you do your report. All right, if anybody has any problems with Flipgrid, let me know. Okay, I'll try and help you. Otherwise, that's what you need to do this week. I'm going to stop sharing the screen now. Okay, are there any questions? Let's just have a quick look. All right, if anybody has a question about this, let me know. Okay. As I said, we're almost halfway through the quarter already. This is week 3. It's going to finish very quickly, I think. In the meantime, stay safe, stay dry, and probably avoid nightclubs for a little while. I think the second wave of the coronavirus is on its way. So take care, everyone. I'll stop recording right now.